Does it feel like your finance team is speaking a foreign language? In this video, I'm going to offer some tips to help HR and stock put administration communicate better with your counterparts in accounting and finance. All the tips that I'm going to present, I learned from the NASPP webinar, Overcoming the Barrier, Building Cross-Departmental Connections. If it feels like your finance team is speaking a foreign language, it might be because they kind of are. I learned this myself back when I first started presenting on equity compensation. When I realized that I was going to have to do a lot of presenting on accounting, I decided it might be helpful if I understood what a P&L statement was. So I took an Accounting 101 class at my local community college. And let me tell you, that class was an eye-opener. I learned that there were all sorts of terms that I thought I understood, but it turns out that in the accounting and finance context, those terms mean something completely different. The panel pointed out that it is really helpful if you have an understanding of how equity awards are accounted for. Even though if you sit in HR or stock plan administration, you probably don't need to be an in-depth subject matter expert on accounting. It's still helpful for you to understand the basics so that when your finance team is coming to you, you have an understanding of what it is that they're looking for. And to get you off on the right foot, the panel actually does a great job presenting the basics of how to account for equity awards. Everything from how to calculate expense and recognize it, all the way through tax accounting and earnings per share. Another thing that the panel emphasized is that it is so important for you to communicate regularly with your counterparts in other departments, particularly accounting and finance. The panel recommended having monthly cross-departmental meetings to keep everyone updated on the status of current projects as well as what might be coming up for the equity plan. And one thing the panel emphasized is that these meetings are not working meetings. This is not the time to do sort of heavy problem solving. These are just very high-level meetings to make sure everyone knows what's going on and what's coming up. And they might include more than just HR, stock plan administration, and the accounting and finance teams. They might also include tax, payroll, legal. Anyone who's involved in operation of the plans might be part of these meetings so that everyone knows what's going on and what deadlines are coming up and can be prepared to do their part. When it comes to finance, it's certainly about what the current financial condition of the company is, but finance is also really about trying to forecast what the company's future financial condition might be. So that involves a lot of forecasts. And one thing the panel emphasized is that when it comes to forecasting, it is important that everybody be on the same page with respect to the assumptions that go into those forecasts. One example that the panel gave is future stock price. Now, you have to assume a future stock price for all sorts of purposes, everything from estimating what your future share usage might be to estimating future expense and future tax benefits. And if the HR team is assuming one future stock price and the finance team is assuming a different future stock price, well, that can make everyone look a little bit silly. The last tip that I want to present is something that I really hadn't thought about until the panel brought it up, which is that you might be able to leverage your third-party providers in helping to build these connections. If you work with outside consultants or with a third-party administrator, chances are that your contacts at those firms work with other people in other departments at your company. So they're probably working not only with you, but they're also working with people in accounting and finance, with legal, with tax, with payroll. And if you need to get everybody in a meeting and have a discussion about how something works related to the stock plan, sometimes you can leverage your outside consultants and your administrator to help bring everybody together. And because they are a neutral third party, they might even be better able to facilitate those conversations than you are. So those are my 4 tips on how you can work better with your accounting and finance teams. Like I said, everything that I learned from the NASPP webinar, Overcoming the Barrier, Building Cross-Departmental Connections. And I have just barely scratched the surface of all the great information that was presented in this webinar. I really hope that you'll check it out today on the NASPP website. I also hope that you enjoyed my video. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll be notified when we post new videos. But heck, you know what? Even if you didn't enjoy it, subscribe anyway. Maybe you'll like the next one. Thanks for watching.